So welcome today to our podcast show, My Experience, where we share our experiences and the things that is bothering on our people here in the UK. And today I'm with a special guest by the name Mazi Okoli. If you look on on the screen, you see his name. So I'm not going to say much. I will allow Mazi to introduce himself to our audience. So good evening, Mazi. You are welcome to the show today.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Mazi Obi Okoli Ojeli Bozi. I greet you all with the sincere greetings of peace. In my native Igbo language, we say Udo Dulunu, which means peace be upon you all. And thank you for joining tonight.
Yes, you're welcome, Mazi. Just for a little bit of more description, Mazi he is the custodian of Igbo culture here in the UK. So when you want to, in our Igbo language, you say Obuofo, you need to consult Mazi. So the topic that we are going to discuss today is just I believe Mazi, you are probably a little bit aware of what I think about last week or so. There is a topic on the net that a little people there was a divided opinion on that particular issue that Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart was being adapted to a TV series, and the person who is playing a lead role on that production is Idris Elba, a well-known British actor. I think he either from Ghana or Sierra Leonean descent, and there was a divided opinion on that issue. So I want to being it that you are one of the people who, if I may say, who witnessed the cradle of Nollywood and Nigerian movie industry in the beginning. What do you have to say about that particular issue?
I think we need to look at this thing from two perspectives.
Mhm.
One is the perspective of looking at it from the business angle, and the other one is looking at it from the hegemonic cultural angle.
Mhm.
Now, if you are very much aware, I had kind of had the opportunity and the privilege of reading a lot of comments made by people, some emotional, some very educational, and
Mhm.
some based on facts and evidence of the best approach that would have been used. But
Mhm.
early in the past, when Nollywood started, the Yorubas have immensely contributed to the growth of Nollywood. And then every other person came into the mainstream of Nollywood, and all other ethnic nationalities joined into Nollywood.
Mhm.
There was a time when Nollywood was going very well, when the producers had to invest money
Mhm.
and the actors were paid very well for you to play a role. And then suddenly the whole thing, we then moved to the east and
Mhm.
started having the marketers being involved in movie shooting and
Mhm.
movie production, and possibly sometimes even movie directing, up to the extent of deciding even who plays a major role in
Mhm.
some of our movies.
Yeah.
So you find out that that particular mistake that was made so many years ago
Mhm.
is today being felt. But people do not know that sometimes the mistakes we make in life does not often show, or we don't see the evidence or the effect immediately
Immediately, yeah.
until after some years.
Mhm.
And then people will begin to see the effect manifest in all ramifications.
Mhm.
And I think that was where we lost the plot. Now, looking at it from the business perspective, you would ask
Mhm.
yourself, somebody is bringing out his money
Mhm.
to produce this movie. I'm aware that the Achebe family is involved. I don't know whether the whole family, but at least the Achebe family is involved in it.
Mhm.
And the choice of the one of the people that will play a major role and even co-produce the movie
Mhm.
in the name of Idris is something that you look at, like I said, from the business perspective. But again, we need to be aware of something that Things Fall Apart represents the hegemonic organic history, experience, culture, tradition of
Mhm.
a people,
Mhm.
of the Igbo people. it is like somebody from somewhere going to play the role of Oba or Verema in the
Mm-hmm.
pot of life,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Now you expect to see the courage, the culture,
Mm.
the passion and expression
Mm.
of a particular of that particular actor,
Mm-hmm.
because we say that 75% of what we do in communication is often non-verbal,
Mm-hmm.
and then verbal has its own percentage. Now, we Things Fall Apart represents our story
Mm-hmm.
told by the master storyteller himself, Chinua Achebe.
Mm-hmm.
So when I read those comments, I said to myself, we have a lot of worthy sons and in Igbo land that could have played that role, that have
Mm-hmm.
surpassed international media screens, and they
Mm-hmm.
have done very well. But again, like I said, we don't know why that choice was made.
Mm-hmm.
But Things Fall Apart is a cultural
Mm-hmm.
representation of something that happened to the core heart of the Igbo people.
Ebola. Yeah.
It represents our intrinsic culture and
Mm-hmm.
tradition.
Mm.
And the portrayal of that culture and tradition would have been perfect with somebody with that cultural background who has had that experience, and
Mm.
who knows, who will use the natural inborn emotion to
Emotions.
express his to read to act his lines and convey the message the way it is supposed to be conveyed. There are
Mm.
names to be mentioned. There are cultural activities, cultural ceremonies that are
Mm.
embedded in Things Fall Apart. And the mispronunciation of an Igbo word,
Yeah.
you fully understand, can mean so many things.
Yes.
I can give you an example. Aqua
Mm-hmm.
has about 7 different meanings. We have aqua, equa, aqua, and all different variations. We are
Mm-hmm.
a tonal language. So I don't know how the movie is going to be is being created. I don't know if there will be aspects in that movie where the Igbo language and culture will be manifested. So that
Mm.
is the genuine concern I saw people express. And I tend to believe that. I remember when Denzel Washington was
Mm-hmm.
asked a question about a movie he wanted to produce, and somebody said, "Why is it an all black cast?" He said that it is only a black person who has had a hot comb go
Mm-hmm.
through his hair and
Mm-hmm.
felt the pain and the agony that will
Mm-hmm.
understand the message he's trying to portray. And it's like getting somebody from Mexico to go and act the role of a mafia in Italy. When this guy acted in the mafia film in
Mm-hmm.
Italy, Stone, I mean, it was well carried. His language, his personality, his body posture,
Mm.
everything communicates effectively to
Mm.
that movie being a success. So I think that was where some people were coming from. And I think they are justified in their own way. But some other people are arguing from the economic perspective. Oh, if you feel so passionate, why haven't you done something since? But if you go back to the original Things Fall Apart,
Mm-hmm.
Okonkwo, our hero,
Mm.
I call him Ikemba of um, Nollywood. I mean, when he acted Okonkwo in Things Fall Apart, you
Mm.
could see his movement, even
Yes.
his body language
Mm.
conveyed the message
Yeah.
of that. He carried that role of Okonkwo, and it was a masterpiece.
It's a
And
masterpiece.
the women involved in all the movie, so
Yes.
I think it's of genuine concern. I am passionate about it because it's of genuine concern that these people are raising
Yeah. Yes.
this sort of
This issue.
concerns. But as
Yeah,
as you know,
I think I'm also curious as well to see if these people, if they are going to move into Igbo land, to probably adapt themselves a little bit to the culture and some of things that will truly bring that particular story to life. And if you come on the other side, there are people who are saying that why are we so particular about who played the lead role, because the person we are talking here is an African, and also Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart was translated in many languages, and if you look at it, some people are saying it's not a Nigerian story alone, because the story transcends the whole of Africa. It tells the story of a typical Africans with their struggle of colonialism. So if people who have this view, are their concern also genuine,
Their concerns are genuine, but one thing you need to understand is that a storyteller tells his story from his personal experience and the environment.
Mhm,
Let's not gainsay this fact. Things Fall Apart is the story of the Igbo people, is the story of the cultural um, ways of living of the Igbo person. It is the story of the seniority of our villages. It is the story of Omonna. It is the
mhm,
story of the Oja flute. It is the story of the maiden women in the village. It is the story, is the manifestation of the entire life of the Igbo person
mhm.
manifested in Things Fall Apart. The
Yeah.
storyteller was telling that story from the comfort of his genuine environment, a natural, organic environment that he wanted to portray to the world. I
Mhm,
am curious. I am an actor myself. I've
mhm.
starred in a couple of movies. Yes, you would say that, yes, once you get into character, you can take it. Yes, you can, be in character and deliver to expectation. That's the role where we have the directors to make sure that you carry that role. But
Yes.
like this sort of traditional, cultural, traditional role, there needs to be a kind of um, a relationship between the person carrying that major role with the community
Mm,
and the people he's trying to sell their story. So
mm,
like you rightly said, one would expect Idris, if the part has already been given to him, if he's been casted and he's
mhm.
won the cast and the role, to come down to the environment, see the people, understand how the people talk, their mannerism, their character, their courage, the way their body posture, all these things are things you will look out for in a movie. And those that so genuinely, we see Things Fall Apart as a story that tells who we are. So people are passionate about it. But again, he could carry the role. He could, do play the role and deliver to expectation. We don't know. But coming from where I come from, knowing how we are brought up
Yeah.
in the village and in the community,
Yeah.
we know the essence of communication and how we deliver them. Our proverbs and everything, will he be able to communicate that? The way
Mm,
you render our proverb, the way we say that Inu, the
mm,
proverb is the palm oil with which words are eaten. Will
mm,
he be able to deliver that proverb in the way it is? I do not expect the movie to be all about English.
mhm,
There must be that embodiment of the Igbo language.
mhm.
In certain aspects, there are certain Igbo words that you cannot translate to English. It's impossible
Yes.
to
Yes.
translate certain Igbo words to English or certain Igbo proverbs to English. It
Mm.
loses its
It,
meaning.
it lose the
I,
value.
I wrote a project on semantic analysis of Igbo proverbs. And sometimes when I read my own book, I ask myself, did I truly represent the way what our people meant by that particular proverb in that book? And I
Mm,
often question myself that I don't think I did. Because one proverb can be used 17 times, 1 million times, and they make 100 million different meanings
and in
depending
different
on the
scenarios.
context and situations it's
Yes.
being used.
Yes.
So
Yes.
these are things that we would like to see in a beautiful film as Things Fall Apart. So the people are genuine, and these people saying, oh, he's an actor, anybody can play it, it's an African role. No, it's not an African story. It's an African story, but in the setting of the Igbo community that has a unique culture, dynamism to itself. The culture of the Igbo person has not been replicated in any other community. So you cannot tell our stories better than us. It's
Okay.
just not, it's possible.
Okay. So there is this other argument as well. When Chiwetel, our own very brother Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think he's a well-known British and Hollywood actor. They argue that Chiwetel went to, I think, Malawi. He played the father to the that small boy who gave his community water. People said he played that role perfectly well. And I've watched that movie myself, and I can see in that movie, Chiwetel was able to immerse himself in the culture of the people by going. I think he learned their language. He conversed a lot in their language, and you could see that he perfectly interpreted that culture very well. Do you think it will be just like our legendary pet Edoche, the Ogadagide of Igbo land? Do you think it would be like a good if Idris could go to, being it that he the one who played that role in his younger days? If Idris could go to him and do you think something like that could
You
happen?
know what you said?
Eh,
Listen to yourself again. You said
eh,
he went to Malawi.
yeah.
He lived among the people. I would expect Idris to do that, right?
Hmm.
He's
Hmm.
won the role. It's like me being invited to Black Panther, and the
Hmm.
Black Panther was not set in a particular; it was set in a different scenario. I
Hmm.
mean, you have to let if he comes down to the culture, to the environment, blends with the people. Remember, I said that earlier. He needs to understand how the people communicate, their
Hmm.
body posture, and a lot of things. Now, it will be a climax if he goes to somebody like Ogadagidi, who I know is an absolute beautiful father, a father anybody would want to have in life,
Hmm.
Ogadagidi will definitely be privileged and honored to imbibe that role, help him carry that role. We, my desire as an individual, as an Igbo patriot, as an Akajiofo in Igbo land, I
Hmm.
would want to see my culture being exported to the world.
Hmm.
But I would equally want to see it not lose its
This,
originality. That
yes.
is all people are. I think I read so many comments. You understand? A friend
Hmm.
of mine, Charles Ariwaldo, will say, but let's stop 1 minute and think about it this way. You understand?
Hmm.
He's a friend that is always having a different perspective to things. So
Hmm.
anytime we have an argument, we like bringing him in because he will look at that thing in a way that you've never looked at it before. And
Hmm.
I saw that in the debates. People were saying from emotional perspective,
Hmm.
there's some people from intellectual perspective, and other people from saying, listen, we can do this thing. But one thing I would advise, if Idris is listening to us, is for him to ignore anybody telling him, oh, we can go past it. You understand? Oh,
Hmm.
you can say it in English. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter.
Hmm.
Everything matters. Every word that we use in Things Fall Apart makes a meaning. I have
Yes.
read that novel 36 times, and I can guarantee you that each time I read that novel, I learned something new. I
Mm.
learned something new. Even the words of Hanukkah to
Mm.
Okonkwo the other day, I read it when Okonkwo was agitated and telling, why are you blowing flute in the morning? And when he asked him about the debt, Hanukkah explained something to him. And that thing keeps resonating in my life. He said, let me pay those I owe first before I talk up. So there are things you learn from reading Things Fall Apart
Mm.
every day. It's like Things Fall Apart for me is the Igbo Bible. That's the way I see it. Each time you read the Bible, you learn new things.
Sentence,
You
yeah.
can never say you're perfect with the Bible. You
Mm.
have different manifestation, different experiences each time you read the Bible. And there's the same thing with Things Fall Apart. If I have read it 37 times and I'm still learning every time I open that book, I mean, it's something that we will want to see the whole feeling of China Achebe,
Hmm.
the manifestation of Okonkwo as a
Mm.
true character. The Umuadas, I believe they will have a cast of women and
that
Umunna
that I
that
don't know
will
how they are
carry,
going to put that
that
movie
will
up.
carry that role. We want to see the
Yes.
export of our culture.
Hmm.
I don't believe in. I often, me, I criticize our people a lot of being inside ourselves. I
Hmm.
believe that we should go out there and let people hear our story.
Hmm.
If people don't know your pain, they cannot
They
profess
can.
solution. They
Yeah.
cannot identify
Yeah.
with it. So the export of our culture will be a great thing to do. I
Mm.
would want to see Idris win an award, and by representing my culture. But
Mm.
again, we must equally take the concerns of one of our people
Yes.
into recognition and pray that the role is carried very well.
Okay. From business point of view, knowing that some people equally say, why didn't they go to Ogadagidi? And do you think our legend Pet, considering his age now and the modernity of how things has changed from when it was originally produced, I think in that probably like 40 years ago, do you think he can still carry that charisma?
Ogadagidi, at his age now, will definitely say no to it, knowing who he is as a father.
Mm-hmm.
Okonkwo represents vibrancy.
Mm-hmm.
Okonkwo represents strength.
Strength, yes.
Okonkwo for us represents the youth,
Mm-hmm.
the youth in Igbo land. Okonkwo
Mm-hmm.
represents the defense of a community.
Mm-hmm.
Okonkwo represents the beauty of our wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Okonkwo represents the beauty of farming, of our young people. Hard
Mm-hmm.
work at the time we were
Mm-hmm.
growing up was
Yes.
what we knew the Igbo young people for.
Yes.
When you go to the farm, that's why we had people call titles like Asezeji. You
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Yeah.
Ubuago. It was what you showed, what you did, that the community recognized you for. So at the age now Okonkwo is, one would have expected that he might be one of the advisors to the
Advice.
movie, or
Yes.
one of the,
Mm-hmm.
remember that somebody directed that movie. The person could
Yeah.
still be alive today. It
Mm-hmm.
would be nice to consult the person, because it is somebody that directed that movie that Ogadagidi became who he is today.
Who it is today.
Ogadagidi has his own personal, God-given, natural acting talent.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, he's shown the charisma for it. He's been fantastic in delivering his roles.
His role.
So one would say that Ogadagidi would be a perfect advisor to
Mm.
such a movie if the director is still alive. So I would expect Idris, like you rightly said, to spend some time with him. We
Yes.
want to see the best for the movie. We are
Yeah.
not, we as Igbo people, you know, one thing, we are a people who support good
We are
things.
progressive
We are,
people.
yes, we are not people who want to say things bring you down because you're doing well. We
Mm.
want to see the best of this movie. We want to see our culture exported to the world. We want to see it organically represented. I think that's what everybody is looking forward to.
Okay. In terms of, let's put pictures. Like, when Ogadagidi did Things Fall Apart, he was full of his youth. Now, some people were saying, why not bring Chiwetel? When you look at the vibrancy of Okonkwo in his youth, and you place Chiwetel and Idris side by side, who do you think we can, let's leave whether our culture, who do you think if physically will interpret that vibrancy better?
It is not fair for me as an actor to say that. I would seriously not say, not go into
No,
it. To be
because
very
what?
honest, because
Oh,
looking at both actors,
uh-huh.
they are a word to me.
Mm-hmm.
They represent the strength of the African person.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at both actors, I've watched different films by them.
Mm.
You cannot, you just, it, for me, it is suicidal to compare two actors. I don't do that. It's like somebody saying, how can we compare Chinua with Jim Ike? I mean, when Jim Ike opens his mouth,
Yeah.
you can't stop listening.
Yeah.
When Chinua talks, you're looking at his body composure, the way he delivers it. Like, two actors can never be the same. So comparing them is asking me to commit suicide, which is a crime in Igbo land.
So before we finally go to the issue of what to touch on a little bit of do you think, looking at the whole of, let's leave business side of it, I know the producers and the people who are involved, they probably must have done their research and consulting and everything. Do you think, cutting across the whole of Nigeria, Nollywood industry, do you think there's somebody who could bring that vibrancy now? Like if this
I tell you the truth without gainsaying the fact, without mincing my words. Andy Okonkwo would have played that role perfectly. He's still in his youth.
Mm-hmm.
He still has the passion. He
Mm-hmm.
still has the charisma. He still has the courage. He still has the intonation. He's still, and now Andy Kenneth Okonkwo has evolved.
Mm-hmm.
He could have, with very good costume and
Mm,
very good makeup, Kenneth
mm,
Okonkwo would have carried that role to heaven and brought it back. So I was listening to Kenneth Okonkwo the other day in an interview talking about the things happening in River State, and I was saying to myself, how did somebody miss this man not playing this role? You know, I thought about it silently.
mm-hmm.
He's an astonishing character. He
Mm,
would have played that role. The majestic movement of Okonkwo in Things Fall Apart would have been seen. As far as I'm concerned, Kenneth Okonkwo is the next Ogadagidi. If we have to, I mean, if Ogadagidi is a title and
yeah.
is a throne,
Mm,
I would any day bow to say Kenneth Okonkwo should be the next Ogadagidi when our great hero passes on. But for
yeah.
God's sake, we have great men in Igbo land, and
Yeah.
Kenneth is one that I would seriously doff my hat for to play that role.
Okay, Mazi, let's touch on this issue before we wrap up today. There is, I think, you look as if everybody does not want to say it, and it's a silent whispering that when it comes to Nollywood today, I want this one to touch home because we are talking something that concerns Igbo people. When it comes to Nollywood today, in this era of Amazon, Netflix, name them Paramount movie, as look as if Nigerian movie industry is the new gold that everybody wants to take part of, and look as if that there are some section of Nigeria. I'm not trying to be. We're just having a discussion. There are some section of Nigeria that are dominating in that, whether we want to tell ourselves the truth or not. Our people, Igbo people, seems to be there's like a very very fast decline in our people, even playing an equal part in leading this new era of Nollywood. When you have some conversations and argument, they say, "Oh, Igbo man started Nollywood. Did the Igbo man put this?" We have a lot of those history, but when it comes today, look as if our people is missing in action when it comes to heavy productions.
I'll
Uh,
tell you the truth. I don't like personally being drawn into this tribal war going on online, and because I think with a master's degree and being trained by one of the best men that ever lived in this earth, my father, Okoli, I try as much as possible to move away from that narrative. But again, give it to the Yorubas.
mhm,
They have been there. They've been to the trenches. They've fought wars. They've been doing Nollywood for quite some time. Um, and they have learned over the years. My
mhm,
elders say that a traveled child is
mhm,
wiser than an elder who stays in the village,
mhm.
right? The
Yes.
Yorubas have done a lot. Listen to me again. The mistake we made as far back as 1996, 1993,
Mhm,
between 1992 to 1996 to 99 even, by allowing marketers who knew nothing about the entertainment industry, the film industry, to begin. When the Yoruba started, they will get their money, they find an executive producer, the
mhm.
director will be paid his dues, the
Yeah.
actors will be paid, they will cast them, they will find out the best that can play the role,
Yes.
and they will give it to them. They had a market orientation. The Yorubas planned for the future in
Yes.
Nollywood. They
Yes.
knew that Nollywood is going to grow. They invested their time, talent, and resources in
Yes.
that industry. And
Mhm.
anybody who is saying that they are dominating, no, 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 they have paid their price, they have paid their dues. Now, that mistake we made moving Nollywood to Anisha,
Mhm.
Azikiwe Road,
Yeah.
was what killed Nollywood today. Where the marketer, people will now shoot film, go and sell it to the marketer, collect their money, move, shoot the next film. At a time, we were producing 9,000 movies in a day. And then at the end of the day, the marketers now started sponsoring movies and even deciding who plays the role. Their girlfriends will play a role. There was a movie I watched the other day, and I'm asking myself, which director would have casted such an actress to play that role. She wasn't carrying the role at all. It was very flat. Her intonation was fake. But again, who knows who sponsored such a movie? And it was an Igbo produced movie, right? Now,
Yeah.
the lady could not carry the role at all. She just could not. But again, you now think about it, it might just be one marketer from Azikiwe in
Yeah.
Onisha that
Yes.
sponsored the movie. So he had a list of his sisters and cousins and girlfriends that he would give and say they have to play the role. The director
Yes.
will have to do what he's been instructed to do.
To
That
do.
killed the industry. Now, having said that, the Igbo society has not even understood that entertainment. I listened to Ali Baba say it once that entertainment even fetches more money to Nigeria than the oil.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I stand to be corrected because that is the truth. I mean, look at Burna Boy. Is it Burna Boy? I can't remember one of the
Yeah.
actors that is supposed to play a role in one of the 50 Cent movie. Look,
No, it's flavor.
sorry, Flavor, my
Yeah.
beloved brother Flavor. Look at how much they were talking about. Now that alone is for Flavor to just play his music for maybe 3-5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And that's significant amount. So I think the Igbo businessmen, because of the way these traders, I'm sorry to use the word, got involved, these marketers, for a better word to use, in
Yeah.
Onisha, got involved in this thing, it killed the industry.
Yeah.
It killed it seriously. And I believe that if I want to shoot a movie, if God blesses me with the money to shoot a movie, I would not concern myself with who is playing what role. I would concern myself in who can deliver best for that role and make sure that the movie is a beautiful thing to watch. I think that's what killed it. And then today, you now notice that our people are more into import and export. So
Yeah.
the music industry has grown very well. We see a lot of our people doing well in the music industry. But remember again that people like Flavor, people like Don Jazzy, people like Chief Priest and the rest of them, I don't think they are looking at the entertainment, but they've not looked at the movie industry. I would want to see E-Money and the rest of them. What's his name now?
Obi
The
Kubana.
Obi Kubana
Yeah.
tell his stories. I listened to Anyi Don singing about the story of Obi Kubana. That is a fantastic story that can be developed into a full-blown movie. I
Yeah.
want to see the Igbo billionaires, the Atoezes, looking at telling our story to the world. Netflix, when you turn on Netflix today, we don't see much again. South Africa is dominating, and some beautiful movies now produced by the West, the Yorubas, fantastic movies. They are selling the culture of Nigeria. They are representing us very well. And I think we, instead of looking at it from a tribal perspective, I want to see it from the business perspective. I want to see it from the patriotic perspective. They have a culture that they want to
Yeah.
export. They have understood the need to export that culture. Genevieve Naji did very well in her last movie. Where is she? Where is Tonto Dike and all the rest of them? Can they not come together, forget the beef of the industry, and have a memorandum of understanding and come up with a powerful movie as these things fall apart? Chimamanda Adichie is there. Onyeka Onwenu, them, may God bless her soul. She was fantastic in creating things like that was fantastic for export. Now we need all these people to sit back and say, what is happening to the industry? How can we revive it? The government has a role to play. The commissioners of culture in Igbo land, what are they doing? But obviously, commissioners have become, for a better word to use, people, political sedan de look. The governor appoints them.
Appoint
He
them.
does not have a meeting with them. He does not give them enough money to run their ministries. They are just, some of them are even hungry, but they have that name, commissioner.
Commissioner.
So the commissioner for culture, what are they doing? This is something. Do we have a film village? Obudu Cattle Ranch is there. Do we have a film village in Igbo land? No. So the governor of Abia State, the governor of Enugu State, have they looked at this area? It is fantastic to have all these investment opportunities that we are calling into Igbo land. But we want to have a film village. There was one that was supposed to be built in Asaba. What happened to it? Why did people not invest? Entertainment and show off is not the only thing. So when people say the Yorubas are doing very well, I will tell you with all sincerity, thumbs up to them. They understand the business, they are doing the business. And for me, in life, if I see that you're doing better than me, my way of life is to understand why are you doing better? How are you doing better? I will copy from you and make sure that I either match you or I surpass you.
Yeah.
So if we are not doing well, our people should get the chip off their shoulder and learn from the West, learn from the Yorubas. How are they able to dominate? Because remember, we are Nigerians, and the more we export our culture, our language, and story to the world, the more the world will begin to understand us. So it
Yeah.
should not. And again, what killed our industry was all one storyline. It was always Igwe. Everybody now that you see is Igwe. All one storyline is always chief this, chief that, kingdom this, kingdom that.
Okay, but
We had
this
a lot of stories, so they killed the industry. People got
royal
tired of talking about royal maid and royal this and royal
princess.
that and first what is it, princess. I can't even remember. I'm from Arondizwag. I can't even remember in my whole life meeting any lady saying that she's a princess from Arondizwag. I've never seen that. It's only in the movie I started knowing that princess wear long wrapper, long one, taking the dust in the village all those type of. They were not depicting the typical Igbo setting. You understand? But
And some of them say this person make money, he do
money
money.
ritual and all that. So we lost it. We became a monosyllabic, monocultural type of industry. It was either the Igwe thing or it was money ritual, and that is it. But look at the West. For every movie you see them produce, it tells a different story.
It tells a different story,
It
and
tells a different story.
of
You know,
their story, their history.
yes,
That is what I
they
love about their
they
history.
do research. There
Yes.
was a movie, I think it's Ologun or something I
Mm.
watched. You could see that the person who scripted that movie took his time. It is not a movie you script in 6 weeks. I
No,
tell you, the Igbo land today now, make a phone call. Somebody will give you a script in 3 weeks.
in 3 weeks.
But that particular
3 weeks is
movie,
long.
when I looked at it, I said to myself, this is not a story for 6 weeks.
Mm.
This is a story this person, the producer the director
They
would have
have,
started with the people in the village,
yeah.
the women, to understand their own side of the story, and then used it to create the script. So
Mm.
the movie was tight. Every actor there had a story to tell
Mm.
and their own unique story. So that is what is creating the attention to the industry. Our own, they've done all the ways now. They've done all the ritual things,
The thing is, they are
and we
not.
can see the impact on our society.
Yes,
That's why
they are.
every young man in Igbo society today
Oh, yeah, you
believes that
want
he
to make
can do
money.
money ritual and become something.
Yeah.
We sold the wrong story to our young people,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
effect is being felt today.
Yes.
It's being felt. Now we are
Yes.
having autonomous Ezes everywhere. I have
Everywhere,
been to a function where an Eze could not break kola nut.
because
He
he's
was
a.
an Eze from a community. He
Mm.
was trying to use English to break kola nut. I could not resist myself. I
That's
mean,
it.
this is the decadence we are seeing in Igbo society today. Every 90 steps you make in Igbo land,
Yeah.
there is an autonomous community, there's an autonomous Eze. So we are now destabilizing the 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 cultural setting our forefathers left.
It is gone. The
So
thing is, we have.
how do you so the pain we are killing Igbo society, and now the death of Nollywood started in 94, 92, 94 up to
Mhm.
99. Now we are in 2024. You can see the result, and
Yeah.
now we are doing the same thing with this traditional so-called Ezes, where the governor decides who becomes an Eze, not
Yeah.
the
Because
culture anymore. So
yeah.
you can see that in future, I can even become an Eze of my family.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now we're having, if you come to a village of 21 villages, before they used to have one Eze, now we're having 21 Ezes.
Yeah.
So the next thing now, there will be kindred Ezes, and then there will
Yeah.
be family Ezes. So I can
Yeah.
equally become now Eze Okoli Chiba. For God's sake, somebody has to put a stop to the madness in Igbo land. And it's right now that this madness has to be stopped.
So before we wrap, this topic is not something that I think we have a little bit make justice today. So I think where our brothers in the West, I think they have improved in their storytelling, the way they capture their history, the way they
Perfect.
want to tell it, and they have also improved a lot in their cinematography.
Fantastic. Their cameras, cinematography,
Yeah.
everything is on point. Even the casting. Look at
Yes.
the casting.
So
You look at a Yoruba movie, you don't really see somebody struggling. And
yeah.
one thing I've noticed is that if they even have an actress or an actor that will struggle, they will tell the person to say it in their language. And you
Yes.
see the originality there.
Yes.
But
Yes.
our own will be we are too complacent with very
Yeah.
important things.
Yeah.
Somebody will say, "Kekweni ihe na-ekwu, yeah, oji oyibo awa ọjị, we are in a world, we change." We don't change.
We
No.
don't change.
Our
That's why.
ancestors put this thing down that when you are blessing the kola nut, use Igbo language, and
Yeah.
you come and say, "Oh, because we have foreigners here," for God's sake,
Even
a Chinese person does not care.
even in Igbo functions,
An Hausa person does not
where
care.
you see Igbo people gather there, they address themselves in English. So Mazi,
Well,
we this is a whole lot of things that need to say to our people. So on this particular note, what do you have to say? Being it that you are one of the Ejiofor of Igbo in the UK, what do you have to say to our viewers, especially people from Igbo extraction?
there's a proverb that my father always uses. He said that the crab, that the crab sensed that the spirits wanted to burn the earth with fire. And that's why the crab came out and used its hands and legs to hold to the world. I think we need to have a rethinking, what I call Igbo mental surgery. We need to go back to the theater and redesign our hopes and aspiration. Igbo land is decaying on a daily basis. You can see the activities happening in Igbo land. We are talking about investment. People are killing our brothers and sisters on a daily basis. The regrettable sit at home that is happening needs to stop. Our young men need to come out from the forest. Let us have peace and bring development. When an enemy is chasing you from anywhere in the world, Igbo land is where you run to. You run back home.
Mhm.
You run from wherever you come home. Now our people are running away from their shelter, their domain, their home, their shrines, and their villages because some people have refused. I understand everything perfectly that the youths are agitated, the youths are angry, the youths are hungry. But for God's sake, you do not kill somebody that you have buried. We say it in Igbo language. Nobody wins the war between king's men
Mhm.
because the person that you kill is your king's man. You've
Mhm.
killed your ancestral spirits and the person who reincarnated them. So you are killing yourself. We say that a man who buries himself, who buries himself in a grave, that one of his hands will always be up.
Yes.
You understand? So
Mhm.
these things are things that we need to begin to rethink our strategies in Igbo land today. We are drastically killing Igbo land. We are affecting Igbo land, no matter under any guise. And we need to have that mental surgery to come back and say to ourselves, enough is enough. Now we need to rebuild and make Igbo land great again. Michael Opara, K.O. Mbadiwe, Mbonu Ozike, and the rest of them, Zeke of Africa, Ikem we may his soul rest in peace be upon him. They will be shaking in their graves. Who knows of this world will be shaking in their graves at what is happening in Igbo land. And we need to stop this right now and begin to rebuild the hopes and shattered dreams of our people. Igbo land has to be great again. And now is the time. We cannot gainsay this. We cannot gloss
Yes.
them over with nice speeches.
Yes.
Igbo land has to be great again. And it will take us to do the same, to make sure that we grow up and build our nation so that other people can come and
Mm.
witness the hospitality of the Igbo people. And we can then go back and say to ourselves, yes, we did it.
We did
And
it.
now is the time to do it. God bless you all.
God bless you. I thank you, Mazi, for coming on the show today. We will bring you back again.
Thank you, sir.
amidst you. So thank you so much, Mazi.
God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening.